Okay, welcome. So today I just wanted to share about a boarding school conference that I'm going to this weekend down in London, and also I'm starting to film, going back and filming Joy Schaverien down in London as well on the Friday. So just give an update. Okay, so this weekend on Friday, I'm going to be going down south, down to London to do another half day's filming with Joy Schaverien. So about 6 weeks ago we went down to London and we filmed Nick Duffell, and we realised as we were looking through the footage that it'd be really good to have a different voice in, especially a female voice, to talk about, you know, this idea that what might the impact be of having children being sent away to boarding school, and then as adults, what would happen then if they become leaders? How might that impact society and the people around them? So I'm going to be speaking to Joy on the Friday, and yeah, I'm excited, a little bit nervous. Going to go off to her flat, speak to her, film for about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to stay down in London. And then on the Saturday there is a boarding school survivors conference just off of Euston, central London, and there's going to be Alex Renton, who wrote the book Stiff Upper Lip. Nick Duffell's going to be speaking. There's going to be Thurstine Basset as well, who wrote the book Trauma, Abandonment and Privilege with Nick Duffell. And there's also going to be Sara Warner and MacMillan speaking. They came onto my podcast, episode 40. So yeah, I'm really excited to be going down. I think there was about 80 to 100 people in attendance last time. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to just hearing these people speak and just be in that environment. It feels very positive that there's more and more people doing more papers, publishing peer-reviewed journals about the psychology of this. So yeah, I am really looking forward to going down. And then the film, once we've done the filming with Joy, we'll start to put together a trailer, start to probably film a few other bits and pieces, just to get across this idea of, you know, if boarding school, people who've been to boarding school have to survive, we know from the psychology of Joy and Nick how it impacts us personally. But what Nick is trying to point out in his book Wounded Leaders is that this then has a knock-on effect for society as a whole. And there's more and more, if you've not listened to Matthew Green's podcast, episode number 48, where he's a climate journalist talking about them now linking in climate change and the problems we're having into trauma. And obviously Gabor Mate's work that is there, and I'd love to speak to Gabor Mate at some point. So it's just to ask this question: has it got any impact? I don't know. Is it a really positive thing? Does it create great leaders, or does it create leaders who are maybe not making decisions for the highest good of humanity, for their country? And so I think it's just a question. We need to have that conversation, and that's the idea with it. If you've not yet signed up to support the film, and what that will mean is when the trailer comes out, to share. You know, we'll also be looking for funding, so we can get the film made. It would be great if we can find a really open production company who's willing to work with us to get our message across. What we're not looking for is a production company which wants to tell us what we need to put in there. We want to really get across that, well, what's the truth of this? You know, is it good, or is it actually quite negative? So that's that. Also, another little point is my podcast on Friday we'll be going live with, her name is Helen Roche, PhD. She is a historian. She originally studied classics, but now is a historian looking at the Third Reich and the education, and especially the Napolas and the boarding schools, the Nazi boarding schools, and how they linked into the UK, British boarding schools, and the US. And the Nazis actually drew a lot of their teachings about how they wanted to set their schools up from the British. So I just think that's a really fascinating interview with Helen, which will go live on Friday. So yeah. Any questions? I've also been preparing today. Maybe I'll do this next week, just about drawing in the idea of Harry Potter, Hogwarts, and how this links into the psychology of boarding school. You know, talking about attachment theories, talking about adverse childhood experiences, how when we're often watching something like this, like Harry Potter, or reading it, it's like we don't actually realize it's normalizing. It's like it's okay to send your children away, but actually what's the impact? So I wanted to just do that, so that might be a bit of a longer video next week. So yeah, wishing you a wonderful week, and if you're in London, it'd be great to see you at the conference. And yeah, wishing you well. Okay, take care.